Welcome back to the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. Field getting set to roll off of pit road and into turn one. This broadcast is available in Spanish by activating your SAP button, presented by ESPN Deportes. For the 8th time in 2008, qualifying was canceled by rain, so the starting grid was determined by point standings, which means that Jimmie Johnson and Carl Edwards will start side by side on the front row. While you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the Budweiser Dodge, Casey Kane, who starts back in 15th here tonight.
Casey, Dale Jarrett, ESPN, you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, Dale.
Hey, Casey, we saw you running high most of the night last night. Now, you predetermine that before these races start, or do you let the track and your race car and the handling decide that for you?
I really just kind of let the track and the car kind of decide where it goes. I'd rather run the bottom all night. You know, I think hopefully tonight the car's capable of doing that. And that's what we put a lot of time into the last day in practice with our Budweiser Dodge. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you can always go for the top if you have to here. There's plenty of racing room at Lowe's. It's a great track.
Hey, Casey, our second question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and one of your friends, Michael, in Farmington, Connecticut, would like to know, how close is your setup to the one you used in May to win the All-Star race and the Coke 600?
It's there's some things that are close and other things that aren't. We unloaded here at the test 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it was a pretty big difference. We weren't nearly as good as we were at the race, so we made a lot of adjustments at the test. And basically what we tested is kind of where we're at now for the race. So we learned some things. These cars keep developing and getting better and better, and I think it should be a good night for everybody. It should be a lot of fun.
Okay, Casey, thanks a lot. Have a good night. Now Andy's going to talk with your crew chief, Kenny Francis.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, Kenny, Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Andy. Go ahead.
Hey, Kenny, with a track and tire combination like we have, it opens up a lot of options. What kind of criteria will you use tonight to decide whether you take 2, 4, or maybe just a gas and go?
Well, this track is kind of unique. You know, the tires don't really wear here. They just kind of get hot, and the lefts don't get near as hot as the right. So, you know, the biggest thing you'll probably see is people doing right sides. I think you can run about 100 laps on the lefts and still be plenty safe, and they don't fall off a lot. So, I guess what you use to determine that is kind of how much fuel you have to put in it. You know, if you're putting a full tank of gas in it, you got plenty of time to put 4, and you'll do that because you're not going to gain anything by not. So the biggest thing will be if you've got you know, 20, 25 laps on the tires. You'll probably see a lot of people do two rights there. Me personally, I don't really care for a gas and go here unless it's you know, right at the end of the race or unless it's kind of a fuel window thing. Because I don't really like to run the rights more than about a full fuel stop, maybe 70, 75 laps at the most, just for safety's sake. You know, this track is probably the track that has the most load on the right front tire that we see, and the tires get pretty hot. So just have to be careful with the rights. But other than that,
Okay, Kenny, we see the cars a lot of times go tight here. Will it go tight or loose, you think, tonight with the track cooling off?
well, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but our car tends to turn a little better as it cools off. So I would say we're going to have to probably tighten ours up a little bit as we go. But you never know here. You just have to kind of wait and see how it comes along, what it brings to you.
Okay, Kenny, thanks a lot for talking to us, and you guys have good luck tonight.
All right, well, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Front row, Jimmie Johnson, Carl Edwards. As we said a little bit ago, Carl has made it very exciting. He is said up front, I am going to do everything I can do. Everyone expects Jimmie to win 3 in a row. I'm going to do what I can to make sure that doesn't happen. Pace truck has pulled away. Great crowd on hand. And here comes the field to the green flag at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Jimmie Johnson made a nice run through that first turn. It looked like it was almost wide open right on the bottom. I thought Carl Edwards might be able to pinch him down.
Looked like Jeff Gordon might have gotten the wall there off turn 2.
We saw that Saw last night in the nationwide race that early on when his tires didn't have a whole lot of heat in them, that they were very slippery out there.
He almost got it again off turn 4. You know, that track is going to get wide, but it's awfully dirty on the top side of the racetrack right now, and those guys are finding that as they get up in that high groove coming off these corners. See Jeff now staying on the bottom of the racetrack. I really thought Carl Edwards was going to give Jimmy Johnson a little better run for that 5 points. Looks like he tried to, but Jimmy had a plan.
So the battle for 7th spot, Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting a challenge from the 0-7 of Clint Boyer. Here's the battle back up front.
I thought Carl was going to try to hold him down there and make that outside line work like we saw last night. We had a car in the wall just off of 4 there. The 77 car's already been into the wall also. He had a crash yesterday.
20 car, last week's winner, Tony Stewart. On the outside of the 0-7, that is for 8th position.
And Clint Boyer had an accident yesterday in the final practice session too. They had to repair this race car, so sure that he's just kind of treading a little bit lightly right now. They were able to get the car fixed and back out on the racetrack. I'm sure he wants to just get settled in here.
Let's show you again what happened to Jeff Gordon on the very first lap of the race here, just coming off the corner.
I think he just found himself a little bit too high exiting. That kind of a lick doesn't seem to affect these cars too much, so I think he'll be okay.
Earnhardt Jr. is on board.
At your door there, you're pulling them. At your bumper still. Still there at your bumper. Still there.
That's a nice save there.
He didn't even lose any ground to Clint Boyer on the inside. He actually pulled ahead while he was hitting the wall. That's pretty cool.
Now trying to move in on Kevin Harvick for 5th position.
That's what I love about this new car. It is so durable. It can take licks like that and just keep running with no problem at all.
Yeah, we already see these guys starting to spread out, and you said this racetrack's going to get wide, and it's going to get wide in a hurry. We see Junior on the bottom.
It's not wide enough for Jeff. It's still not wide enough for Jeff. I don't know. He's really struggling with that high groove.
Really good this time. We're in trouble.
Now that one was hurt. That'll hurt the car there.
And they will have to bring that car down to pit road, and obviously he's still staying on the racetrack, but my goodness, Andy.
And he's still ahead of Clint Boyer.
Got the crush now. I can hear the jaws.
He's going to have some problems with that lick right there, though. That was pretty hard hit, and I would actually be concerned about the tires. The sidewalls getting against the wall so hard there early. And a lot of time. He's got a lot of time he's going to have to run these tires.
Yeah, he's just up way out of the groove right there. You can hear him say the car's been tight.
And that's concrete he hits right there. That safer barrier had ended before he hit it there.
It is hard to imagine with that kind of lick there that he did not bend the sheet metal in against a tire and has already had a tire problem.
I know this car it always amazes me just how durable it is. I mean, he's still running fairly fast lap times, and I'm telling you, he killed that wall.
Tony Stewart moving on the inside of the 29 car of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, this is a guy, Tony Stewart, that everybody was pointing at in the garage area. I talked to a lot of guys, and they said Tony Stewart had a car to beat. Jamie?
That's exactly what I was going to say, DJ. He's running solid right now, but everybody was saying, yes, he's definitely the car to beat. He just broke a 43-race winless streak last weekend. They're bringing a brand new car. They brought it here for the test 3 weeks ago. They're really happy with it, and Zippy just looked at me and said, yeah, I think we're going to be top 5. Definitely keep your eyes on the 20 car.
How does that happen when a guy suddenly breaks a winless streak and then goes on a roll where suddenly he's just almost unbeatable?
Well, one of the ways that happens, this 20 car has had good performance all year. They just haven't had the luck. They finally got some good breaks and a good break last week at Talladega, and that can just open it up. I mean, they've had the performance to win. They just hadn't had the luck.
Early laps here. Jimmy Johnson has led all 8 laps thus far. And here comes the 24 car finally down pit road. Dave Burke.
And guys, they were going to try to ride it out, but they began detecting that there was too much of a rub on the right front and possibly on the right rear as well. So they are going to pit this 24 car. They are going to pull out the fenders on the front and the rear of the car and change the right side tires. Disappointing start to the night for these guys. They thought they had a good race car, maybe not the fastest, but now they've got a dented up race car immediately in the start of this race.
Now that makes for a long night there. Whenever you have something like this happen this early in the race.
Well, that's the key. It is early. They'll have a lot of time to make this up if the car will keep running good. It looked like he had maintained okay. They came in because of the tire rub. The car was still fairly competitive.
20 car, Tony Stewart moving by the 88, and that is for 5th position. He makes a move. We saw a moment ago. Looked like Carl Edwards was starting to inch in a little bit up front on Mr. Jimmy Johnson.
He was tracking him down, but he got within just a few car lengths there, and now it's kind of stabilized.
Jimmy Johnson from the pole, by virtue of being the points leader, has led all 11 laps here so far. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Lose your